All right, let's talk about 7,
Why
okay?
would you?
Because the night is getting long, and you and I, we just saw it just, 8 hours ago or something.
So before now, rank the 6 movies.
5 is the number 1. 6 is number 2.
Wrong.
No, my fucking ranking, bitch. This is mine.
I didn't say
5.
you're wrong. Anyways, go.
I think 5. You said not including 7?
Not including 7.
I think 5 is the best. I think 6 is the second best. I think after that I take 1,
Right.
then 3, then 2, then 4.
Okay. 5's the best, then number 1, then number 6, then 3, then 2, then 4.
Okay, so we're only one
we
number
differ
off.
that, but I mean 5 is the greatest, and then 1 is like it has its own spirit that like it deserves to be. You know?
That's fair. I mean, I'm just the action on display in 6 is just insane. It's so entertaining. If you told me,
but you could watch 5 for action and then watch 1 for the story or whatever.
yeah, I would rewatch all of these movies.
Well,
I'm
not going to rewatch 2 or 4 again.
I would, but I would fast forward through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you watch like how I watch movies at like 2 times speed. Like we said in the Hellraiser podcast, if you don't have much time, you got VLC. Watch a movie at 2 to 3 times speed with subtitles on because you can still see the dialogue and hear it in fast motion.
Yeah.
You get the movies quicker.
Yeah.
It's if you're trying to watch a lot of movies in a short amount of time. 7. Our conclusion.
Okay.
This is a separate podcast, probably.
Okay. I like 7.
I
like 7 now, and I think I will even love it later.
Here's the lowdown. 7 jumped the shark so bad.
I feel like the entire series jumped the shark. I don't know if that's a fair thing to say.
So I
agree with you, but well, let's talk about it.
So that's where movie logic and then full retard come into play. All these movies, like Tropic Thunder, like Robert Downey Jr. says, you go retard. You don't go full retard. They've all been kind of retarded in a way. 7 goes on to full fucking retard.
Okay.
Let me just say this. There's a goddamn attack helicopter being flown by another nation's leader.
Yeah.
And a Predator drone, not even a real drone, it has goddamn rocket engines on it, flying around LA, dropping missiles on police cars and stuff in the middle of downtown LA. It goes too far. It went way too far. And I'll blame, I guess. I mean, this is no longer directed by Justin Lin. This is the first one where Justin Lin has now finished, and he did the last 4 movies. This is James Wan, the guy who did Insidious and Saw, and one of those other horror movies.
Conjuring.
Now, I'm not saying that he made a bad movie physically. It looks fine. But I don't know how those movies gets you ready to direct a $190 million budget racing crime action movie. I mean, they took a chance, I guess.
I think he did a great fucking job.
One of the things that I also said and I saw online, people said was like, so there's always been like girls in bikinis, whatever. There's a scene here where, as the director, I got to go, yeah, the total change of like style, not good, was like the party scene. Instead of panning over a party and there's girls dancing and all that kind of stuff.
What party scene? Abu Ghraib?
Abu Ghraib?
What is that? Abu
Ghraib? Is that like a prison? Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
I have no really concept of what that is.
Okay.
My ignorance is showing.
It is. I mean, I follow a lot of like Middle East politics, military stuff, so I know more, but
It's just like right next to Saudi Arabia or something?
I had to pull up a map, but like it's not Dubai.
Is it like a city-state or?
It's the United Arab Emirates. So it's a collection of nations, of Arab nations.
Okay.
And Abu Dhabi is one. Like, I think Dubai is one.
Okay.
It's a place where there's a lot of oil money,
Yeah.
and they build cities in the middle of the desert.
So they are essentially like city-states, basically. They're like Rome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the straight political terms, but they have so much money, they build man-made islands.
Yeah.
Like, they have an island that looks like a palm tree. They built the fucking island in the ocean. This is rich oil nations.
And they're fairly, like, progressed over there. They party and have, like, crazy debaucherous whatever. It's not like girls are walking around and...
Well, I mean, if you go to Dubai, you have to be careful with that stuff, but, like, certain places are less so.
Okay. All right, go ahead. So
they went here...
One of the party scenes...
They went here instead of Dubai because they got a bigger tax credit.
Yeah.
30% tax credit instead of 0. So these party shots, it was beginning of the movie. I remember it was like right at the beginning. Instead of like shooting girls dancing in bikinis, it literally felt like a music video where like you would hear a guy rapping and there would just be a video of a girl like, look at these titties, look at this,
Yeah.
And it was gratuitous.
The whole series has done that.
No. See, it's always had, not taste, but it's been like there, but not like I'm on you only. The camera literally was just like 2 girls. That's the only thing you could see. And it was like still shots. And then it did it again, and it did it again. And I thought, it's kind of weird. I went online. There were definitely people who also were like, yeah, that was really over, like, farther than they've gone before, and it was stupid. Nitpicking? Whatever.
I think it's a little bit of a nitpick.
I think it shows the difference between the directorial, wellness. I don't know what to call it, but it felt like a music video rather than a movie.
I think that this movie was very much in the spirit of the last two movies. I think that what it suffered from was, I don't think jumping the shark. I think it was from...
Ooh.
I think it's jumping the shark.
Okay, so how does this movie start?
It's Jason Statham.
So they show that Jason Statham is now the bad guy in this movie.
He's
the one who killed
Shaw's
Han.
brother. He's the villain from Six's brother. This is a revenge thing.
He somehow came into a hospital and knocked out / killed 30 elite SWAT members by himself. It was stupid.
It was a great intro sequence.
Again, it's too far over the top.
You're not accepting that Fast and Furious is no longer the street racing thing.
It doesn't matter.
We're superheroes now. It's a comic book movie.
It's over the top is acceptable. Then there's over the top. And this was stupidly over the top. One man by himself, no guns, whatever. He's going to get revenge on the crew for hurting his brother. Which I always find it funny in the real world.
They didn't even kill his brother. They put him in traction, but that's enough for him to set him off.
I always find it funny in the world when a bad guy gets
It's Die Hard 3.
I like Die Hard 3, but I can't remember. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's Hans.
Oh, it's his brother, right?
Hans' his brother.
Yeah. That's a good movie. A bad guy's doing something really bad, and someone comes along to stop him, and then someone has the audacity to be like, how dare you try to stop this evil person who's doing this bad thing? I get that you're probably evil too, but I always find it stupid. And this happens in the real world. When people get upset that, he was bad. How are you mad at me for stopping the bad guy? He's a bad guy.
It's nothing,
My son goes, he's a bad
Jason Statham
guy.
explained it. Him and his brother in the schoolyard when they were kids.
I know.
And they would take on the big bullies, and he would come in and finish the mess or something like that. He explained it all.
But, he has to admit he's a piece of shit, too. Then. So,
it doesn't matter. It's just how do we get Jason Statham to go against? Because
No, it's fine. That situation in the real world, when people get up, when someone comes at you for, being the good person. It's just ridiculous.
People are selfish. It just illustrates their bad character that they can only think about themselves.
I hate people. That's all I can say.
That's fine. So Jason Statham is the transporter, right? We can't not avoid this. Jason Statham has been a lot of more action flicks and stuff like that, but the thing that transported him to his star status is the transporter, right? Which is a car movie. It's another my superpower is I drive cars.
Which there was a transporter preview in front of this movie, right?
Was
that Transporter?
Yep.
I stopped paying attention.
Maybe not. I don't remember. It wasn't Jason Statham.
It looks like a transporter movie.
So of course, what a brilliant genius move. We'll have the transporter be the bad guy. So how do we differentiate 6 from 5? We'll have the evil versions of them. The other guys that do what they do, but they do it for bad reasons or whatever.
This is the anti-Hobbs.
7? This is the anti... Well...
Because he's government, ex...
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true. Because Hobbs is involved in, government and stuff and military and
this guy's the same thing, but he'll search and find people to kill versus, arrest.
Yeah. It's kind of not really clear. That's... You say jumping the shark is the problem in this movie, but I think it's clarity that's the problem. There's no clear stakes. There's no clear objective in this movie. I think that's what hurts it more than anything else.
There are a lot of plot issues, but I just mean what they decided to do with the action was stupid.
I enjoyed it.
There's a lot of subplots that kind of go nowhere.
And
there are issues with this movie.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Paul Walker's death is not nothing. You don't know what they were planning to do with this film.
Which let's just say this right off the bat. So Paul Walker died about halfway through shooting this movie. His brother Cody and Caleb came in.
I did not know that, by the way. I knew he died, but I didn't know to what extent, how far along the movie had gotten.
This movie came out a year later than it was supposed to. Cody and Caleb Walker were doing body double work, and then Weta, which is the house that does Golem and all that stuff, they did a CGI placement to pick Paul Walker's face on his brother's bodies. Okay, me and you watched this movie. We did not catch a single scene in this movie except for the very, 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 very end where we noticed that it wasn't Paul Walker. They did a fucking phenomenal job.
Yeah, I think...
some people on the internet here and there. I didn't notice it at all.
Very, very, very late in the movie, I turned over to you and I went, did they actually just finish the movie and then Paul Walker died?
Right.
And you said, no, he died halfway through. I'm like, geez, wow, hat off. They
did 8 weeks of shooting after he died.
Yeah, I had no idea. And in retrospect, you start thinking, God, he's kind of seldom in it. You know what I mean? It's the Dom show, really, for this movie. It's a lot of Dom scenes by himself and stuff like that.
But this movie's over 2 hours long. There's enough of scenes of everybody.
Right, but it's a lot of Dom. You can feel that Brian should be in this movie more. There should be more stuff with him solo, or I mean, he goes to the prison, but that's kind of it. Oh, you're right. That is 6. What am I talking about?
But
I watched them all on the same day. So.
Right. Because in this one, the scenes that Paul Walker's actually in are the scenes that are like dialogue and stuff. It's the action stuff that he wasn't around for mostly. It seems like I can't get a good grasp on everything of what he wasn't there for. But they said he shot like they shot in Atlanta. And they shot, like, basically those dialogues, heavy stuff, and story stuff. It's him. The Abu Dhabi stuff was, like, the stand-ins. So it's hard to really know.
Okay, let's talk about the stuff this movie is made of. So it's made of Dom Letty stuff.
Yeah, Letty's...
I don't care. I know. I don't care. I mean, I'm glad it's there, and I'm glad that it's, like, thematic building blocks for the whole family thing, and don't give up on family and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention in 6 that, Dom jumps over like between two roads that are like overhanging a ravine and saves Letty. Ashley falls off a tank and then they crash into a windshield. You gotta go see 6. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, well, you should watch all these movies.
Right, but the tank thing. There's a tank in 6, and Ludacris goes, these guys got a tank.
Yeah, again, this goes back to the bank vault thing that I was saying earlier. You go, okay, what if we had cars versus a tank? What do we do with that? And do everything you can with it. That's a great action scene.
So in this
also,
one,
cars versus plane. This is...
they even say that in this movie. Roman says we've done cars versus cars versus trains, cars versus tank. Like, what's next?
What's next? So one thing in time here. So we got Dom and Letty stuff. Whatever.
Well, their stuff is that Letty knows that she's forgotten a lot, and she feels weird around Dom because Dom has all these great memories that she sees him expressing, but she doesn't have them, so she feels weird, like feels guilty.
He takes her to Race Wars. It's a callback to the first one, and she kind of has a little bit of a... He says
that they invented
Race Wars. Is that a real thing?
I don't know, but what I mean is, like, I guess it's supposed like, is that really, did they actually invent it?
There's also sorts of great kind of payoff, like, we know this stuff has dumb origins and we own it.
There's a lot of referential to the first movie in this movie.
And dumb stuff. Like, when you hear Race Wars, you're like, that sounds so... You can't take that very seriously. That sounds kind of cheesy.
It is what it is.
Well, okay.
I don't care.
You're saying you're cheesy and maybe possibly dumb.
It's Race Wars. They're racing. I don't know.
Race Wars. Okay, whatever. And then they got the Corona thing. Fucking whatever.
Whatever.
So Dom and Letty stuff, I don't care.
Right.
That's what it.
But Letty leaves. She says, "I need some time. I need by myself."
Back, whatever. Yeah. She remembers. She doesn't remember. Why didn't you tell me you got married? It was all pretty convoluted, and I didn't particularly care. Right. She gets her memory back at the end of the movie. That's all that matters.
Which,
I guess whatever. So what else is this movie made out of? They introduce a Kurt Russell, Mr. Nobody.
Yeah.
He is the way Hobbs comes in and like gets the whole team together for 6. That's what Mr. Nobody, Kurt Russell character does in this movie. He goes, Dom, I need you. I need your crew. I'll give you all the cars you want. I'll give you whatever you need.
So you skip the fact that Jason Statham, who's also Shaw.
No, yeah.
Because his brother.
These are all the different pieces.
He puts Hobbs in the hospital. So Hobbs is laid up in the hospital, can't really do anything.
Right, and you're like, oh, bummer. But then he comes back and does great shit at the end.
He's actually not in the movie very much.
No, he's not.
First 10 minutes, last 10 minutes.
Right.
That's it.
But the scene, will you at least, I really like the fight scene between Jason Statham and Hobbs.
Hobbs? Oh, Hobbs, not Vin Diesel.
No, it's the first. Yeah,
that's fine.
It was good.
I thought
because I was like, big ass. It's gonna be big ass The Rock versus obviously Jason Statham is 3 times smaller, but Jason Statham's faster. He's more lethal.
I looked at it and said, dude, you couldn't beat up The Rock.
Yeah, there's no way.
Okay, so
well, he threw a grenade.
There's an old UFC fight when I used to watch UFC when I was like a teenager, which I don't care about anymore. There was a fight against a guy who was like 6'5" against a guy who was like 5'10". You know, like, he's just going to get destroyed. But what he did was, like, he kicked the guy in the thigh repeatedly. He'd run, he'd back up, boom, kick him in the thigh. And then kick him in the thigh. And by the end of the match, the dude's leg was, like, purple.
Yeah.
It can happen. But Jason Statham, The Rock. The Rock in these movies. Not The Rock now. He's a hulking fucking monster.
He's a Samoan Thor.
I don't know what you could do to him to, like, yeah, you could punch him in the face a bunch, but he's so big, he just grab you and go, you're mine. Like, whatever. I'm not complaining.
So are you, when we have these arguments in college where you go Bruce Lee versus Mike Tyson, you go Mike Tyson?
Yeah. I love Bruce Lee. He's one of the most influential, like, philosophy and fighting, everything about the guy. It's Mike fucking Tyson. Iron Mike would knock the fuck out of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Unless Bruce Lee could do like the punch like in a pressure point that would like make you go unconscious or something. But
see, I always said if it was a confined space, Bruce Lee is toast. But
Right.
if you had like your whole environment to use, like I don't.
what you don't understand about boxers though is they're very fast. Like The Rock is not a boxer; he's a wrestler or whatever. But like Tyson, boxing is the ultimate sport. It really is. Those guys they're good at everything. Now, you get into UFC and you go doing ground grappling and stuff. I don't know how a boxer does against those guys. They say, the grapplers always win. But if the boxer just comes up and just punches you in your face, like, you're done. Like, one hit. Iron Mike, one hit, you're gone. You're gone. You're dead. You're brain damaged. I'm sorry. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is the greatest game ever made. He knocks Little Mac down with one punch. But what I mean is, like, there are times where brute force, like, I play a tower defense game. I win by just building a bunch of the first units, like just the regular guns, and upgrading them. Tons of those are better than like the big badass towers, a couple of those. Just raw fucking brute force sometimes is better. When you look at The Rock, you look at Jason Statham. Jason Statham's a badass, he can fight. Look at the fucking Rock.
Yeah,
he's a monster.
They didn't quite utilize Jason Statham to feel like his full potential.
So James Wan doesn't really shoot, I would say, or whoever was the action director doesn't shoot the choreography there very well.
I thought there's some great choreography. I really like that fight scene.
See, we come from a martial arts background of movies where wide shots showing all the moves. Think about where Matrix came
I
from.
feel like it wasn't fair enough of wide shots, but you also know, you've talked to me long enough too. What do I like? I like environment action, and there was tons of like, let me use this desk, let me use this light fixture, let me use this thing,
Jackie Chan.
do this. I love that stuff.
But real fighting is good on camera when you do wide shots and you watch the people portraying it, like do multiple swings, multiple moves before you make cuts.
Yeah.
This is a lot of super close George Lucas, like like it's not that bad. It's just not as good as it could have been.
I was fairly impressed.
So Hobbs in the hospital.
So you got Jason Statham on a revenge kick, and he's like Jason Voorhees. He's like taking out like this person. He takes out Han.
Yeah.
That's Han's death in Tokyo Drift is explained by saying Jason Statham is like out for revenge, and he's the reason why he died. He kills him.
Right. After he puts Hobbs in the hospital.
So that's one other piece we have on the board now is Jason Statham wanting revenge. Okay.
And he's super secret. Like
I don't even fucking know.
The UK had him as like a super secret agent.
Yeah,
and
I must have went to the bathroom or something.
He got like too big to handle. Like, and they tried to like shut him down, and nope. Like, I'll fucking kill all the guys who send after me. So he's super badass.
He's super badass. So okay.
The package.
So Mr. Nobody, Kurt Russell's character says...
No.
What package?
Shaw sends a package from Tokyo to Dom's house.
To me, I don't want to talk about that. Jason Statham's out for revenge. He's fucking with everybody.
But he blows up Dom's house.
Yeah?
Nobody dies, but he blows up his house.
A lot of things happen in this movie.
But it sets the stage for, like, that's the first time that they figure out who Shaw is. He sends them that package. He thought it was from Han.
Sure.
And then, Brian...
So you're getting dangerously close to actually, like, starting to describe the plot in this movie, and there isn't one.
It's just the fact that that's the setting off point. He blows up Dom's house, and Dom's like, okay, I'm going to fucking kill you now. And you killed Han.
Right.
So now I'm out for super duper revenge.
Right.
More than just, like, you killed Letty. I'm really going to hurt this guy.
Okay, so you got Dom and Letty. You got the crew and Statham. You've got Brian and Mia, because... Mia's got a second kid on the way,
right?
And
she can somehow tell it's a girl when she's not even showing yet,
right? And
I have kids. I know how that stuff works.
She doesn't want to tell Brian because Brian is saying like, I miss the bullets and I miss the adventure and excitement and all that kind of stuff. So clearly there was supposed to be there's a built-in character arc here for Brian where he kind of wants to go back to the life or whatever, but he needs to grow up and be a father or whatever by the end of the movie.
That scene between him and Vin Diesel, like I miss the bullets. They said like if you kind of watch that, that's probably one of those scenes that was after the fact,
right?
Because they're not on screen, and what they're saying to each other doesn't quite make perfect sense.
Up. So you got that going on. You got that piece. So you got funny scenes of him driving the minivan and stuff like that with his kid.
I like to nitpick, but when Jason Statham's in Hobbs' computer, Hobbs goes, "What are you doing?" Whatever. He's like, "I just need another second." And then Jason Statham says, "I told you I was looking for the team." He didn't say it. This is what I mean by directing and like editing. Jason Statham says, "I told you I was doing this." He never told him he was doing this. Like, I'm catching dialogue issues right in the first 10 minutes of the movie where I'm like, who edited this movie? I mean, I'm sorry I'm a dickhead with stuff like that, but I edit video and do this shit all the time. It's easy to catch this stuff. Who watched it? Yeah, I'm sorry, whatever. He goes, "I told you I was looking for the crew that took out my brother." No, you didn't. You told him, just give me one more second. I'm working on something.
It seemed to make sense when I watched it.
I took notes on my phone during the movie.
You were hate recording it, so I can't.
I was taking notes.
the way you can.
Exactly. Again, one last job for like the 6th time. This is the last time we're doing something again and again and again. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, whatever. And Mia's like the most accommodating like woman ever. You know, you would think it would be so easy to fall into like this like, no, but they're always just like, no, I want you to go because you guys take care of each other and like, oh, you need to go do it, but be careful and don't die and make sure you come back. Okay, so what other pieces are we missing? Okay, now we're talking about Mr. Nobody. Can we talk about Mr. Nobody now?
Well, yes, but what happens is Shaw and they're at the funeral for Han.
See, you want to do this in like chronology. You're driving me crazy.
I know, I'm sorry, but
there is no chronology. This movie's a mess.
There's Han's funeral. Dom sees Shaw like at the funeral and chases him down. But this is the thing that happens twice in the movie where they're facing each other. They're going to play a game of chicken in their cars. And they just literally drive the cars.
Made me laugh, yes.
And they just crash them head on into each other.
Maybe that was unexpected.
Because it happens more than once, so that's why I wanted to bring it up. And so they crash into each other, but of course Jason Statham's car is all like reinforced, so he's like, I'm fine. Dom's like, oh, I'm getting out of the car all fucked up.
Except he's fine too because he's invincible.
Right. And, Statham says, he pulls a gun out, he's like, what do you think, it's going to be a street fight? Then Mr. Nobody shows up.
Okay, Mr. Nobody's Kurt Russell, he comes in with all of his commandos and stuff like that and scares off Jason Statham, and he tells him, okay, so here's what's the new plot device. The plot device now is it's the Batman device from Dark Knight. It basically is like a thing that lets you see. This is the movie's bullshit. It's a thing that lets you like look at every surveillance thing in the world. But you need this hacker girl also to help you. It's what? I don't get it. Like, what?
She made it, and she has a chip that has it on there. I don't know.
It's fucking stupid. Chip or girl?
Again,
pick one.
Coming from an IT background, this hacky stuff is just so...
They're stealing the internet.
This is the fucking CSI one when they're like, oh, they're hacking us so fast that 2 people... Have you seen that one?
No, I don't watch CSI.
I don't either, but there's a thing on the internet of like stupid stuff for hacking. It's like she's like trying to stop the hacking as it's happening, and she's like, they're going too fast, I can't do it myself. The guy pulls up next to her, and they're both typing on the same keyboard at the same time.
Yeah.
Double the hacking stopping speed. For me, personally, I want to blow my brains out when I say that because I've lost faith in humanity. Yeah. Like, this movie's a lot of that stupid bullshit. Like, code running in the background. It's just like a command prompt saying "Hello World" over and over again.
Okay, so this chip thing, whatever plot device, whatever the fuck, it's in the hands of some terrorist organization that's really vague and you don't really quite understand what it's all about. It's being ran by the guy from Blood Diamond that I can never say his name.
Right.
And
it's what he did with the money after he sold his Blood Diamond.
That's what he did with the money after.
This is a sequel to Blood Diamond, by the way.
Yeah, I mean he's been in a ton of movies. He's been Gladiator and a lot of other things.
It's not Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah.
That's a basketball player.
So I think that's all the pieces on the board. So basically, Mr. Nobody says, okay, look, we're going to recruit your team to go get the chip from the terrorist organization.
In Azerbaijan.
And then you can use the chip to find
Shaw.
Jason Statham, even though Jason Statham is... You don't need to find him because he already found you.
Right.
You guys have already seen each other. And Dom actually says this. He goes, well, why would I do that if I just let him come to me?
And also, you guys could have just had him and you let him go.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But fuck it, right? We need an action set piece.
Because Mr. Nobody says the U.S. government can't go into these places.
Yeah, which is fine. So they do something that I thought was fucking awesome. I know you think that a lot of the movie jumped the shark.
This is fine. I like this.
This is the best action set piece in the movie. And, well, maybe not. No, not the whole series, but I need to compare it.
It's the best idea.
Well, whatever. It's not like Bank Vault. Like, you can't just say, like, you're talking about the plane.
Yeah.
The plane's a part of it, but I think the actual action scene, the car scene, is fucking. I thought it was incredibly done. I thought it was done really, 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 really well.
So they drop all out of a plane and they have parachutes on their cars
because they can't. They have to get into some gnarly piece of some country and they can't get in on roads.
Right.
So it's actually a really funny bit where Roman is like, I want to, everybody else is making decisions. I want to make some decisions. All right, fuck you, Roman. Fine, make some decisions. And he goes, we'll just go in here. Just points to the map randomly, and that's how they kind of come up with this crazy idea just to jump in. And then it continues to be funny because he's sitting there mumbling to himself like, "From the streets, man." And then you find out that the reason why he's trying to psych himself up is because they're about to jump out of these planes in their cars.
Yeah. And he's like, I just can't do it.
And he's just a pussy. He can't do it.
He literally admits, he's like, I've reached my limit. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do this.
It's a good bit. I liked it a lot.
And then Ludacris goes up. I knew you would do that, so I put a parachute in your car and whatever.
Remote controls it, takes him out anyway.
The reason why I kind of thought this was... That's all great. The actual car chase that you're talking about is okay. Ludacris goes down in like a big Bearcat again, like Hobbs' car. It's a big armored vehicle, right? And they do this thing where they go formation, and Ludacris gets in the front, and they all line up behind him because
because they're trying. There's a girl, the chip and the girl, just the girl. I don't get it,
right?
But whatever. They have something they need to get, so that's why they're
just
there.
the girl. The girl nailed the chip.
It's another essentially like a road heist. Okay, so fine, go ahead. You're gonna complain now about the Ludacris has the powerful car. What?
All their cars are like bulletproof, but Luda's is really bulletproof because it's a big ass vehicle.
Yeah.
Theirs are like actual regular cars, just like souped up because they have the military money to do all kinds of crazy shit. They get in a formation where Ludacris is in the front and he's like blocking all the bullets. And I said to myself, why didn't they all just get that vehicle?
Because that would be like saying, why do all the people in this super team have the same they have the same costume?
But that vehicle
that would be fucking boring. And also in an action scene, you would have a harder time being able to tell the characters apart.
Absolutely, which is why this is a poorly written scene. You should have
it's not.
You should have redone it in a way that no one should have a car that's like bigger and like more something.
All right, you want a reason? Because the other cars need to be more maneuverable and faster because they need to go around the bus or get in front of the bus and all that kind of stuff.
I thought of that too, and you know what? His car goes fucking great. They don't need it. So anyways, it's just one of those points where you're like, okay, again, the writing. Why? So Tony Jaa is the guy that is on the bus.
Right, but I didn't realize until you said something like in the movie it was almost over.
Well, yeah, I go, oh, that was Tony Jaa the whole time. I forgot. I didn't realize that was him. There's just Brian jumps in the bus. There's guns going off, and you know he saves the lady and throws her out in the car. The only thing worth talking about here is that the bus turns over. It's going to crash over the ledge. Brian's going to die, and so is Tony Jaa. And they both try to jump out of the bus. Tony Jaa gets in front of him and closes his gate. So Brian's stuck in the thing, and he just looks at him and goes...
it's basically the scene from the Lost World, Jurassic Park Lost World, when they get the trailer gets knocked off the cliff.
And Brian's stuck, he's locked in there, and he can't figure out a way before the bus goes over, and Tony Jaa goes, too slow!
Yeah.
Because he doesn't speak English, so it's kind of funny, and then he jumps out, which comes back later. But that was like the only good part of that was like that lock. That was cool.
I thought the entire thing was fucking brilliant. I loved the action scene. I thought it was riveting. Riveting. I have rivets all over me, all up and down.
Yeah, there's guns going off, but you know the cars... Tej goes, oh, they're armor-piercing rounds, but the fucking armor on the vehicles seems to stop it.
How quickly into the movie did you start hating it? Sounds like real quick.
I didn't hate it by here. I'm annoyed by certain things that are stupid. I didn't hate it until the end.
The whole series is stupid.
I didn't hate it till the last half.
The whole series is stupid.
No, it's not. It's a serious, good movie.
You love it because it's dumb and stupid.
Yes, but when you go too dumb...
You do not have enough love for this movie.
You don't go full retard.
All right. I didn't think it went full retard yet at this point.
Not at this point. At this point, it's just kind of annoying, but I can handle it. It's okay.
You mentioned Tony Jaa. I want to say that this is all the film, Fast and Furious franchise's transition from having cameo appearances by rappers and hip hop artists. And
Iggy Azalea was in this movie for 2 seconds, and that was horrible.
So it's still there, but now it's with 5 or 6 going forward, I guess. Now it's all about martial artists,
action stars.
So in the 6th movie, you had Gina Carano.
You're right.
Hobbs' sidekick, who turns out that she's like a double agent on the wrong side.
She was
or
really
whatever.
good in what was it?
Haywire. I don't know. I didn't see any movies.
She made a movie with Michael Fassbender.
Isn't that Haywire?
I don't know.
Whatever. I heard she can't act.
No, she's pretty good. Not bad.
All right. Anyway, Gina Carano, and then in
Rhonda,
this movie,
what's her face?
Rhonda something.
Rousey.
She's the new one that's kicking the shit out of everybody.
Right.
She's at what's the place called?
Abu Dhabi.
She gets down with it. It's really funny because it's like they keep having these scenes where these actual martial artists fight the actors, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so
Michelle Rodriguez.
Gina Carano versus Michelle Rodriguez, and then Rhonda versus Michelle Rodriguez, and then later Tony Jaa versus Paul Walker.
Right.
And I'm like, this is kind of funny because it's like they're martial artists. They kick the shit out of them, right? But I don't know. Maybe they want it more. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so you got that action set piece. I thought that was pretty great.
They all get away.
And then you have Jason Statham popping up. Like it's kind of dumb. It's super dumb. So
like, how did he get there?
Yeah, it's just.
Oh no, he made a deal with no, not yet.
No, not yet. He's just like this. He's supposed. I see what they're doing. They're trying to set him up as like the rogue element, right?
You know, the more you talk about this movie, the more you realize how stupid it is.
It is, but I liked it anyway.
You didn't.
Yes, I did. I did like it.
Convince me.
No, I'm not trying to convince you. I don't need to. Fuck you. I don't care about you. Die in a fire. See if I care.
Wow.
Yeah.
Things just got dark real fast.
No, I mean they're trying to set him up as like the wild card, you know? Like there's movies where you have it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly kind of thing. Like you have your good, you have your bad, But then you have the rogue element that's supposed to come in and kind of shake things up. It just didn't work. It just didn't do anything. He kind of just came in and was like ineffectual. Nothing really happened, and then it just felt strange.
So we get to the next plot point, or the next thing that happens that I think is dumb. Vin Diesel just drives off the cliff and crashes his car on purpose.
Well, but that was the whole point. He wanted the roll cage.
Because he had a roll cage. Yeah, because a roll cage will save you from falling 70 feet onto rock.
He realized that he was invincible.
That's
he
okay.
remembered that he was invincible.
It's
I
Bruce
can just go
Willis.
off this cliff. Nobody else can because
Right.
everybody else would die and not me.
Again, I'm all for like, hey, I crashed my car because it was reinforced and I knew I'd survive. That was
I was into
ridiculous.
it. And it was the first time in the series we saw trees, which was cool. It was a whole forest section.
You know what's funny? That was filmed in Colorado. They said that they were going to get tax credits or something like that, so they were going to film it somewhere else, and they ended up getting it in Colorado because they said we'll film it somewhere else and we'll add in CGI trees. I don't know if it was the director was just like, yeah, but you know what? People are going to notice the trees are fake.
Yeah.
So good on them. Still
All right,
looks fake.
so then they fly, then they globetrot to
So
another
rather
place.
than giving her, after they saved Ramsey, it's a girl, rather than giving her to Kurt Russell, like, you know, hey, okay, we got her. Here, are you happy? They go to Abu Dhabi to get the...
Well, that was their job. Their job was to get the chip thing.
No, it was to get her.
No, was to get both.
No, it was to get her. And she says, well, I don't have the chip. I mailed it to my friend in Abu Dhabi. So they go to Abu Dhabi rather than just let Mr. Nobody take care of it. It made no sense. That
Yeah.
literally made no sense.
Yeah, I don't want to think too hard about the Abu Dhabi thing because they fuck shit up. They destroy buildings and fuck the car up and all these kinds of things. And really all they were trying to do is get the chip away from a rich guy. Like, it wasn't even like there's no evil people involved.
Right.
There's no bad guys or terrorist organizations. It's literally just
A rich prince.
a rich prince.
I don't understand. Why did he buy it? What does that thing do that he wants it?
Put it in the car.
Because they don't know what it does. They don't realize that it's this God's eye thing.
It didn't make any sense.
So here's where we go to the point where like it's starting to literally like go, there are some things you take liberty with. This is starting to make zero sense.
And again, it's not that
She
I'm not
mailed it-
taking issue with the fact. I'm not saying that. I'm not arguing that the movie makes sense. You're arguing that the movie is bad because it jumps the shark. It gets too big, and I don't think it gets too big. I just think it's too convoluted. I think if things had made sense and weren't so confusing or had them actually make sense, I think that I don't think that you
Maybe
would
it's
have had such a hard time with the elevation of the action.
maybe it's because of Paul Walker's death. I don't know. But the writing, this
It's
story,
probably most certainly because of that.
I mean, the rewrites, whatever. But this doesn't make any sense why they go there and why they do this. It just gives them a chance to wear suits, like really nice suits, and then party.
Yeah, and have a different set piece and.
Right.
But whatever. Again, I thought the action was fun. I was
think
entertained.
okay, they jump a car between one skyscraper to another through the windows and stuff. I believe it'd be pretty cool to see a car jump from one building to another, not through the damn girders of this 100-story building that's.
It just went through the windows. It's
No,
not-
it actually took out the steel girders. You can see it. It
I don't
bends it, and then they go through another one. Hey, you drove a car between two buildings. That's pretty cool. Not those two buildings. That was.
And again, getting away from the practical stuff because the best action scene is them taking on the bus that we just finished talking about, and it seemed it was pretty much practical. It's just
They
like
blew their
cameras
load
shooting
early.
cars. All movies do now. Like
I know we've had that discussion, but regardless,
not on tape,
tape.
not on video, not on recording. All fucking modern action movies now these days, with the exception of these Fast and Furious movies that we were just talking about, they have their best action scene not at the end of the movie, not their climax. It's really obnoxious. These movies don't suffer from that anyway.
I just blew my load of water on the floor.
Yeah. All right, so I don't know. Whatever. Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
So
Robbie Bobby.
they steal the thing. The car falls and smashes. They get the chip, and they give it to Kurt Russell,
They go back to Mr. Nobody, and
then they go try to get Shaw.
Okay, this is where the movie goes full retard.
No, not even yet. They go to get Shaw. Shaw's eating dinner in an abandoned warehouse, with wine and shit.
Because they're gonna go get him.
And he's like, I got a grenade in my napkin. I thought the whole thing was like, it's like if this grenade goes off, it blows up the whole building because there's like chemicals. Turns out, no, he's just like, I have a grenade.
Yeah.
Well, I could easily have ran over and take the grenade and thrown it away. I thought the building was like wired to blow up, but he has Dikembe Mutombo.
He's got the terrorist organization on his side.
Yeah, they come in and basically like kill
because they want their hacker and their chip back.
Yeah, and they kill like all the Kurt Russell team. And then they shoot Kurt Russell, and he's like winking at Dom during the middle of this, like, "Oh, it's okay, I got shot. I'm cool." Like, why did he wink at them? Like,
Because it was awesome.
Like he knew, "Oh, okay, I got shot, but I'm just gonna like play it off." Why are you looking at
Because he's basically he couldn't say it, but what he could have said if he could talk was, like, "Hey, did you see my night vision sunglasses?"
Oh yeah, those are pretty cool. And that was Tony Jaa's character that shot him, and they
whatever. It's another cool action scene.
They leave the God's Eye chip on the floor there because Brian tries to get it, but there's gunfire.
The bad guys get the chip, but they still have the hacker girl, Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right?
And
I still don't understand.
Kurt Russell has a SOCOM team come in to pick him up for medical things. He's like, I'm cool. You just leave me on the side of the road.
So this is where they go. All right, talk me through this. They say, they're going to come after us.
Right.
So let's go somewhere. I think this is what it is. Let's go somewhere.
Fight them on our home turf.
Our home turf. In other words, let us doom Los Angeles to a fiery death.
Yeah.
Because they are going to come after us with attack helicopters and predator drones.
Well, then they come up with this bullshit convoluted thing of like, we can hack their system.
I get it.
We can hack the system back. Ramsey can hack it back.
No.
But they have to be within 2-mile radius of us for some weird reason. Makes no sense.
Well, because of signals and reasons.
Reasons. Satellites. I mean, come on. They get whatever. Doesn't make any sense. So Dikembe Mutombo shows up, and a goddamn attack helicopter, like a fancy one that's like a modern future weapon, not even something you see in today's world. In downtown L.A., there's an attack chopper being flown by a terrorist organization from another country in downtown L.A., and nobody here seems to notice it.
It was a stealth helicopter.
Stealth helicopter, right?
Notice?
Yeah, I noticed.
It had flat surfaces.
Yeah, all night, 45-degree angles, right?
Yeah.
Painted black.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so dumb. So they find her, and they're like, oh, let's play hot potato with her. We'll drive her around in cars so they can't track her down while she hacks them.
Again, I think this stuff could have proved to be interesting and exciting, but the stakes were so convoluted and didn't make any sense that you couldn't even...
Forget that. Here's where it just gets dumb visually. And then, Jason Statham comes for Vin Diesel, and Vin Diesel's like, let's have a showdown where they fight each other on a parking garage with wrenches. Now, this one was smart. This time they do the head-on crash. Vin Diesel does his patented, let me lift the front of my hood, the front of my car up like I'm doing a wheelie with my vehicle, and I'll just crash into Jason Statham's car like that. So I'll just smash the fucking windshield. But then he backs the car up. Jason Statham was trapped in the car. Vin Diesel's got a shotgun, but he backs the car up and lets him get out so they can have a street fight.
Yeah. Well, he actually does try. It doesn't make any sense because Vin Diesel actually does take his sawed off and tries to shoot him.
Right, but it misses.
But he misses. And then he still got one shot and got him dead to rights and says, like, what did you think this was going to be a street fight? Shoots the last remaining shell in the air and then says, well, it is.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then pulls out two. So he tries to kill him, misses. I don't know. Then he takes out two big wrenches. And I swear to God, he's going to throw the other wrench to him so we can have a fight thing.
Right.
But instead, he just puts it in his other hand like he's got dual wrenches. And then Jason Statham takes two pieces of like rebar or whatever.
Like damaged pieces of his car that's like sharp.
Yeah. I'm still into it. Whatever. It's super dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Oh. You have to at least admit that the last like confrontation between Tony Jaa and
absolutely, it's fine.
and Brian in the building, you don't understand what he's doing.
Okay,
this is the
wait.
You don't understand what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's trying to boost the signal at the top of the building.
I don't fucking know.
After this attack chopper just blew a fucking missile at a building and knocked over like a big, huge tower.
They scramble the jets.
Oh yeah, the jets. They are riding around an attack helicopter and blowing up buildings in L.A. They blew up a satellite tower.
You know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate here a little bit. Okay. You love Iron Man 3. We both love Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's his house? It's in Malibu, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it equally as unbelievable that a terrorist organization can have like 10 helicopters to show up and blow up the shit out of his house?
Because they're a huge organization. 2, they are news chopper. Like they had like news.
So you're saying that
he disguised them. What?
What if these guys like stole this attack helicopter off of a nearby army base or something like that?
That's even worse. So, whatever.
I'm not going to defend the movie.
They're shooting missiles in downtown LA and like no one, whatever.
At what point, like, okay, so the Predator drone is trying to shoot.
No, we haven't even gotten to the Predator drone yet.
All right.
So, they knock down the satellite tower with missiles and it smashes into the ground just like ridiculous. Like the end of the fuck. Like, we were in a terrorist attack. Like a full-on terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Bigger than 9/11. Brian's got to go to the top of a building to boost the signal because they destroyed the satellite thing. Tony Jaa somehow knows exactly what floor he's on in this building where they rappel down through the windows right in front of him. I guess they were using God's eye or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, they weren't because it was offline because
No.
they knocked the satellite down.
No, the satellite was keeping them from hacking their signal. It wasn't.
Okay, yeah, right. Anyway. So I don't know what happens. He shoots them with the machine gun. Tony Jaa and Brian are fighting. He pushes a table at him, and Tony Jaa puts his legs up against the wall, and like wall climbs backwards over the top. That was cool. But the best part was
the door.
Yes. So, my God, I don't know how they did this, but this was great.
That was fucking awesome.
He opens the door, like he runs up some stairs, and he opens the door.
Not just stairs. Don't just say he runs up stairs.
Cement stairs.
He runs up like 10
Concrete.
10 flights of stairs or something like that. I mean, how many steps?
So that stairwell is not like a U-turn.
No, it's just one long-ass stairwell.
Right.
Like the ones you run up when you're in training and football and shit,
Right.
like at stadiums.
And it's concrete indoors. It's like an unfinished building. He opens the door, Tony Jaa's there, starts beating him up, pushes him against the door, and then basically rams him against the door to where the door
and they
breaks.
surf the door down the steps.
Yes, Brian's on his back. Paul Walker's on his back with Tony Jaa on top of him, and they're riding this fucking door down concrete steps, and they're getting air.
Yeah.
Every time there's like, every 10 steps there's
It's a great stunt. And it's not, I'm not like, oh, it's CGI or nothing like that.
No,
Like, it looked like two big guys flying down the stairs. It was great.
Like, every 10 steps there's like a little bit of landing for like the door for that floor, so it's like flat. So every time they hit the flat spot, like a hill in San Francisco, they end up catching fucking air.
Yeah.
That was cool. I'll admit, that was fucking cool. And then he hooks a thing onto Tony Jaa's vest and kicks the spool of wire off into the elevator shaft, and he goes, too slow.
Yeah.
Tony Jaa goes, smash. God, I'm so done. Okay.
You don't want to talk about how Dom uses his car. He takes out.
The attack helicopter has a fucking Predator drone in it.
Oh, no, wait. We can't get there yet. No, we can't do this. Because we didn't talk about the Return of the Rock.
No, this is not yet.
No?
No. The attack helicopter has a goddamn Predator drone in it.
Oh,
okay, now drones have missiles, whatever. This one doesn't. Drones have propellers. This one has fucking rocket boosters on it. Oh my God. It's all CG at this point. Everything is CG. It looks so bad.
The cars aren't CG.
Yeah, but
The Predator drone is, but no,
the helicopter, all that stuff is. The Predator drone's just flying around blowing this shit. Cops are chasing Brian. The Predator drone shoots a missile and ends up hitting the cop car. Like, they're just blowing up the streets. Hellraiser Part 3. And we said in the theater. Yeah. It's the streets are just exploding. Missiles and everything, and they can't shake this thing. I don't even want to talk about how stupid it is, but they're switching cars, and the drone's chasing them, and the drone's like, I'm going to get you, I have an eyeball. It's a green eyeball. It's fucking dumb. So dumb. It like turns and goes, I see you. Like, it actually like turns and goes like, it's funny, like if it was a character, it'd be like that squirrel that turns around and goes, dun, dun, dun. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Dramatic chipmunk.
Yeah. It is dumb. But The Rock gets out of, and so The Rock has now I know more about why the commercial has this. The Rock has a daughter, and she's in the hospital with him. He sees the explosion, and the TV turns off. He's like, okay, I got to get up and do something about this. He goes, I thought he was talking just about himself, but he's talking to his daughter. Yeah. He goes, Daddy's got to go to work. Because in the commercial, he just goes, Daddy's got to go to work, and he flexes his fucking arm and just breaks the cast off his whole arm. Just fucking tears it off. That's a great scene. I think it's hilarious.
See, you can get into that. Like, that is your cue that this is a comic book movie at this point. Like, clearly, like, everybody is superhuman. Like, so why are you so, like, jump the shark about this?
Because that's real. Even if you can't do that, it's a real person and practical. The CGI Predator drone blowing missiles around downtown LA is just, no. How we talk about how he destroys the Predator drone.
Which is also impossible.
What?
He just divined that he was going to go off the bridge at that time and land on the drone.
So he steals an ambulance. Or whatever. What do you call it when a police I'm gonna use this vehicle?
It's an ambulance.
No. You're like if you take a citizen's vehicle.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not reprimanding.
Commandeers it.
He commandeers an ambulance. He's driving to get to the scene, and the oh no, the drone's gonna get us. This is our last chance. Like we blew up Brian's car, we blew up Tej and Roman's car. Now it's Letty. It's the last one. After that. There's nowhere else for her to hide from. They go through a tunnel thinking, oh, we'll lose the drone in the tunnel. And the drone goes in the fucking tunnel, and the homeless guy's like, whoa, as the thing goes by fast. Dumb scene. They come out of the tunnel, and somehow, like you said, divine knowledge, The Rock drives the ambulance off the bridge above the tunnel, or whatever you want to call it, the overpass, breaks the cement barrier, and lands on a drone going like 90 miles an hour somehow. And just knew exactly when to time it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Couldn't see it from where he's at, but he just fucking knew. Blows up the fucking drone, smashes an ambulance, who falls, 30 or 30 feet to concrete. He just gets up and knocks the windshield out and walks out of the ambulance. Like, hey, what's up? I helped you. And then oh God, he comes up and he shoots the drone's eyeball, right? The green eyeball. Is that where he got the minigun from?
Yeah, he took it off the drone. He tore it off the fucking drone.
Oh, also, Vin Diesel's head is the sun.
God, there you forgot about that.
I took notes, right? There's a scene in the movie where they're showing like the sunrise, and when it first starts, you think it's the back of Vin Diesel's head.
Yeah.
I don't know if I swear it was done on purpose. It's like the poster from Dawn of the Dead.
Do we want to try to like describe like the actual climax and the fucking ballet of get rid of this helicopter?
I just want to finish this. We're 3.5 hours in. Let's
Dom shoots at the helicopter.
No. Also, I forgot one thing. I guess Vin Diesel's a psychic in Fast and Furious 4. You probably know what I'm talking about. He can just fucking re-envision murders as he stands in the crime scene.
He was looking at the tire patterns on the street.
And he was just like seeing it.
Yeah, he was doing Sherlock Holmes thing. It was cool. Okay, they take out the helicopter.
So, yeah, he uses the gun and he shoots the helicopter, but it doesn't seem to do anything.
Wait. All right, so Dom and...
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Dom and Jason Statham
isn't this stupid?
No, it's fucking awesome. So they're fighting each other on top of the parking structure, and the helicopter comes and wants to kill...
Shaw and Dom now.
No, it wants to kill Dom, and they're like, "Oh, Shaw's down there." Like, we don't care about him.
Which I don't even know why they care anymore.
So they're gonna shoot him. They miss. The structure is it's cracking and it's about to break or whatever. And everybody's already keeps calling. Dom is the Hulk and fucking Rock is the Hulk, and they're superhuman.
There's actually you saw the joke inside the hospital, right? When he's in the hospital, he's watching the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno. That's why when he goes, Daddy's got to go to work, and he breaks the cast. It's like the Hulk breaking out of his clothes.
If there was any more doubt that these characters are superhuman superheroes, Dom, the last thing he does to take out Shaw...
Wait. The rocket hits the parking structure, and like you said, it starts breaking apart, but a crack forms, and it goes perfectly around Jason Statham's character.
Yes.
Like, perfect. Like, he looks down and watches it curl around him.
Right.
And then...
thousands and thousands of tons of concrete or whatever the fuck, and Dom... says some line, and goes...
Oh, no. He says, for there to be a street race... Oh, when there's a street fight, street always wins.
The street always wins. And that's his cue to slam his foot down on the ground, and that was just...
That's the explosion in Groundhog Day... in Caddyshack to knock the ball into the hole.
That's exactly what it is. Except it's the other way around. It's like the ball causing an explosion.
Right.
And, of course, the whole thing falls apart. Jason Statham falls to his seeming death.
Nope. Oh, seeming, yeah.
Yeah, probably not, though. He'll probably be back for 8.
And then the parking structure starts to fucking get disintegrated by missiles, but it's still somehow Jason Statham survives.
Dom's driving around in his car, dodging missiles, and so eventually a ramp kind of forms out of the rubble that of the parking structure, and he says, "Screw it," or something.
He says, "Better not miss."
Better not, whatever. So
because he took all the grenades.
He's got all the grenades that Jason Statham had, and he up the ramp. Almost touching the helicopter.
Like, you think he's going to run his car into the helicopter and crash it and, like, sacrifice himself.
It kind of seems like, he didn't quite make it, but he left the grenades.
He hooked him on the bottom of the... Because the stealth helicopter with all these good angles has a hook on the bottom for you to put a handbag.
Well, that's where you put repelling cords and stuff.
No, it's not. You hang those from the inside. I know you're kidding, but, again, you cannot describe this shit away. It's stupid.
Because he puts them up there.
I thought he was going to throw them.
He puts the grenades up there because he knows
The Rock is waiting.
That Hobbs has taken the minigun away from the drone.
No. He's already used all the minigun's bullets. He's been shooting the helicopter.
Oh, you're right. He's been shooting the helicopter the whole time.
But it doesn't destroy the helicopter, but it fucks him up a little bit.
Yeah. So he takes out his awesome Magnum Anaconda. And shoots the bag of grenades, and that blows up the helicopter.
Just like Walking Dead. Spoiler!
And then Dom is... dead, but he's not. And Letty... Letty needs to remember her memories to bring him back to life.
What I wanted to say is this is one of those scenes where, like, I don't know if this was Paul Walker, but, like, he starts to try to do CPR on Dom and tells Letty to breathe in his mouth, and it seemed to look like Paul Walker to me. So if that wasn't him, because I assume, like, he didn't do the action scenes.
Again, I was just watching it like I thought it was him the whole time.
I thought that was one of those scenes where, like, I don't know if it was him or not, but if it wasn't, that was pretty good. Letty goes,
is that an accurate description? Accurate description?
Yeah.
Letty remembers
everything.
She loses her amnesia,
She has amnesia inception.
Basically,
she has amnesia of her amnesia.
You have to clap to bring Tinkerbell back to life.
Yes.
To bring Vin Diesel back to life, you just need to remember that you married him.
Yes.
So she remembers
in the
that you
Dominican
married
Republic.
him, and then he says, "Oh, you finally remembered," and that's the end of major operations.
And everybody jumps in the air and goes, "Yeah!" And then you freeze frame when everyone's feet in the air.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's seal up the movie before we talk about the
well, even without that scene, what happens next is... Oh, also, Elena's been working with Hobbs the whole time.
That's true.
She's in America now.
She's the new Gina Carano.
Yeah, and he put a recommendation in for her to get a...
Right.
So she'll probably be in another movie in like the FBI
Signed
somewhere
up
high
for
up.
more
Yeah.
movies, yeah.
So what happens after that scene with Dom and everything before we get to the...
I feel that's the only thing I can remember after that.
They wake up and like... People are doing stuff. He goes back to his garage and he gets like... Oh no, that was for the shotgun. He gets the sawed off. Something happens after this before the last... Oh, and this whole time Mia's in the Dominican or in some like country in a fortress of Dom's friend.
We need to get her out of here. Yeah, she's just out of harm's way and whatever. I don't think there is anything else in between, or nothing to speak of anyway.
Okay, so...
But before we talk about that, let's just do our final words here in the movie, because the rest of that stuff feels like epilogue. So I still like it. I think it was entertaining as shit. I still think it carries the vibe of 5 and 6. It did jump the shark, that's true, but I didn't mind as much.
Think about this. Take everything up until the plane dropping bus sequence. You admit everything after that's fucking dumb.
Yes, but again, as I've been saying, I think the whole series is dumb.
But
this is dumber.
Yeah.
But the whole series has been dumb.
But I mean, like, even the plot, like in the beginning, was in the minivan, and that lady, it seems like that was like a romantic interest. They never show that again.
I didn't think it was romantic.
She's like, oh, you'll get the hang of it. No, it was not at all. There's a lot of things that just kind of went nowhere. Yeah, you already know my stance on it, everybody. It's dumb.
Well, so rank. Okay, so you said rank the movies before this.
This is the last. This is below 4.
Wow.
This is the worst movie in the
Least favorite?
series. So if you go on like Rotten Tomatoes and you go to other places, you'll see people are writing like, oh, I love them because okay. So what happens after this? We're going to talk about in a second. There's a Paul Walker tribute before the credits, and I think it was done right, just done kind of like off, and I'll explain that. But I don't think it's bad. People are saying like a lot of the review scores are influenced by the whole Paul Walker death and tribute scene because the tribute scene, the shit movie ends on a really good high note. So you forget that a lot of it was shit and stupid. This whole drone shit in LA is really just over the fucking dumb top. And people are like online going like, be honest, this movie's dumb. This movie's bad. I like the Fast and Furious movies. This movie's bad. Like, I'm not the only one who feels this way. And I feel like a lot of reviewers are remembering that last scene in the movie and going, it was good. Like that was the last thing I remember. I don't think it's getting a fair shake in terms of like, if this was another Fast and Furious movie, it probably would have gotten bad ratings. Right? Okay, it's a Fast and the Furious movie, right? This is the kind of thing that, like, Roger Ebert would not give 2 thumbs up to. Like, I think the originally man gave 2 thumbs up to because he thought it was actually okay. But critics are going to, like, go, it's a dumb action movie. But in the end, when you say that, you give it a rotten rating, right? You don't give it a high score. It's sitting at, like, 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's high for any movie.
I think that's fair.
For this movie?
A low B, yeah. I think that's fair. I think that the plot is nonsensical, but I think that that's because of
beyond nonsensical.
It's beyond nonsensical. That's fine. The plot is not. The plot is completely. The plot is completely nonsensical. But I know this is gonna sound weird coming from me, but like,
do you hear how high pitched my voice is going?
There's still funny character.
Yes,
there's still lots of great character moments. I laughed. There was a lot of funny beats. All the stuff that I love about the movie so far, having these great little character moments, having little great character interactions, and having fantastic action. I think that stuff all passes.
Fine. All that stuff you talked about happens in the first half of the movie. The second half of the movie is a failure.
I still thought there's some great action. I know you're getting really hung up on the drone thing, but there's still...
You like the Tony Jaa fight, and you like the Vin Diesel fight, sort of. Everything else you said is stupid.
It's fine. It's stupid, but it doesn't mean it wasn't fun to watch.
Oh, it wasn't fun to watch. It was whatever. Okay, so we have different opinion on that one. That's fine.
And even stuff like the fucking Michelle Rodriguez like fighting Rhonda and stuff like that. Like I thought that was a good fight scene. Like I still like thought it was fun to have the car go through the buildings and have Paul Walker going, Dom, cars don't fly, Dom.
Which is a take back to his son throwing the car.
Yeah. So to me, there's still tons of stuff to like.
It could have been done better.
Of course.
No, not so stupid, I guess.
Of course.
You heard
And
me
this
say
is
it earlier.
clearly the ceiling as far as like you can't take it any further now unless they're going to be racing space shuttles. Like if they're racing, you're making a face.
Roman
like they
says
might
something
do
about
that.
space shuttles. It's a good movie.
You know,
Hey,
like,
we only have 2 more entries till number 10. As we all know, when you go to number 10, you got to go to
you gotta
space.
go to space. Obviously, the next. Well, before we talk about what the franchise goes or whatever, let's talk about the tribute scene. I thought it was great. I thought that it hit the exact right note. I was moved by it. I thought it was really well done. It was understated. I'm really glad that they didn't kill the character. That would have been the really obvious kind of way to go about doing it.
No, you could have just said he decides to like go off and not do anymore. You don't have to kill him.
This was what they did.
But okay.
It's exactly what they did.
They didn't telegraph it. They also, like you said, you went to this movie. Well, you knew
they didn't telegraph it.
You knew he was dead, but you didn't like know how much of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't know.
They didn't make it very apparent. Hey, by the way, Paul Walker passed away or died. Which, okay, there's 2 things to talk about. Okay, so there's a scene. God, is it only the beach scene, or is there more before that?
No, that's it. They just are on the beach.
Okay, so they're on the beach, and Paul Walker is playing with his son and Mia, and all the rest of the team is sitting back, like, watching him. And it's, like, super obvious. They're like, oh, he's going away, or he's done. Which they're saying, like, oh, he's going to go become a family man. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to do this anymore, which has been said before.
That's the in-universe.
Right. But obviously they're actually saying he's passed away, he's going on to, he'll be living off in our hearts, but he's no longer here. And it is touching, and I do agree. Here's the weird thing about all this. This isn't happening after the movie's over. It's happening during the ending of the movie. So it feels weird because it feels like it's part of the universe versus an actual tribute to Paul Walker.
Just let go, man. It can be like both. It can be like fluid,
So what happens is, but this is why I don't get it, because Vin Diesel gets up and goes, oh, I don't want to say goodbye or whatever. So they're all there at the beach, and Vin Diesel just walks away. Okay, I don't want to say goodbye to Brian, but what about everybody else? What are they doing? They're just going to sit there and watch him for a while, then leave on their own? Like, that didn't make any sense to me. And I wanted this thing to be perfection, and this made me go like, I don't get what he's doing. He's just got in his car and drove away. Him and Letty are together again. Didn't they drive, like, together? What is he doing? And I know there's supposed to be some metaphorical, whatever, but that just, I don't want to say goodbye, so I'm just going to leave. But I'm going to leave all you guys here. It wasn't like everyone was going on and, they said goodbye. It's like the end of Friends when Rachel doesn't say goodbye to Ross. It makes sense. You get, like, she says, I can't say goodbyes, so she says bye to everybody else, but not him. Vin Diesel just gets up and walks away, gets in his car and drives away. I'm like, okay. This is where I like this part. Paul Walker pulls up in a pure white, like, import car, and he's like, hey, you can't leave without saying goodbye. And you can tell this is the CG or, like, B-roll footage or maybe footage from another scene somewhere where he's in the car.
Yeah.
He's like, can't leave without saying goodbye. And Vin Diesel's kind of doing a narration of, like, I said I live my life a quarter mile at a time. I think that's why we're brothers, because we both are like that. Mm-hmm. So he's, pontificating about how much he loved Brian, a.k.a. Paul Walker. Then they show you flashback scenes of the other movies when he's giving the speech about family and all that stuff. It's touching. It's nice. I like all this stuff. And so they don't race after this. They both kind of drive together side by side. And this is beautiful. I will admit, this is very beautiful. They did a good job with it. It's just they didn't telegraph what they're talking about. Because you're still thinking that this is part of the movie. This isn't a tribute afterwards.
Nobody doesn't know about this.
But it doesn't make sense in the face. Like, I said the way you could have done this is, like, once the movie's over and the credits roll, like, this could have been going on, like, during the credits on the side, like a big thing on the side or something.
But this is a big deal. They didn't want to have it just in the credits or after the credits.
Not after the credits. I mean, literally, like, right when the movie ends, you could have even been like, tribute to Paul Walker, we do something. But this is playing as part of the movie. And it doesn't make sense in terms of the movie. You know what I mean?
Why can't it just be that, it's the end of the story arc of the character where I'm done with this stuff. I'm just going to be a family man. That's fine.
That's fine. I just mean how they handled, like, Dom leaving and not saying goodbye. And
I mean, he did that with Letty earlier in the fourth movie, so, like, it wasn't...
No, it's not the same thing at all. He left her so that she wouldn't get...
But he just left without saying goodbye. Like, he,
When did he say that?
In the fourth one.
They got married. That's what that whole marriage thing was, is that they got married and then he left so that she would be safe.
He left. She didn't know that he was leaving. He just left.
Okay.
She's, like, sleeping in a bed, and he's like... Peace.
I don't remember the scene. He talks to her and says, I need to leave you. He tells her, like, I need to go by myself.
I know, but then she's like, oh, no, they kiss.
Well, he tells her that he's going to.
He's done it before.
So, they're driving their cars in Malibu, area or whatever, canyon, mountains, whatever. And then the helicopter pans up, nice big shot, and Paul Walker's car takes an off ramp and drives off, and beautiful. Vin Diesel keeps going forward. Paul Walker's car goes off by itself over the mountains, and the camera pans up and just shows you like the sun, and it fades to white, and it says "For Paul."
Yeah,
it's really nice.
I'm getting all choked up just thinking about it.
But in terms of this being as part of the end of the movie that we just watched, all the stuff. Wait, what about Mia and his son Jack?
But it's just a big dumb action movie. Who cares? Like, it's okay to just like have this be like liminal.
But it felt like it should be separate. It should have been separate. The movie should have ended, gone to a black screen, and this came up as like something a little different. I don't know if it's because they didn't have footage or whatever the case may be. I think it was handled well, shot well, and like it makes sense. It's just a little grating because you're like, I know this isn't part of the movie. Like, this actually is not part of the movie. This is a different thing.
Because it bother you because it takes you out of the movie? Like, it breaks the experience for you?
No, because when you like have the movie, like you sell it on Blu-ray, whatever, like the movie would end without the scene. This would be like a feature.
Right, because you have a problem with it because it breaks the experience of the movie?
I guess. It's a little forced. I don't know.
Like, are you really like, oh, I don't like this because now I see the fourth wall?
Kind of.
Really? I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, like, you're thinking about it. Most people are thinking about that the whole time anyway, like where Paul Walker is and where his brother is.
This isn't like Clerks or no, like Mallrats where someone says like some shitty movie and they look at the camera and wink at it. Like, this is not what this movie is. This movie isn't about looking at the camera and winking. This is a little far.
I know, but like the story of Paul Walker's death and the story of like all of these actors being really close with each other beyond the films is much a part of the story as the actual in-universe story is.
Yes, but if you just went to go see a movie, we're talking just dead to rights, a movie. You went to go watch this movie. This scene is not part of the movie. It's a separate thing.
I thought it was very well done. And even if it wasn't in there, because you were talking about influencing people's judgment, if somebody gave it 82%, I'd still think it was fine.
Here's the thing. I think that if you hadn't put this in the movie, and you had it as a separate thing, you could do it differently and better. Like, because it was shoehorned into the movie, it felt like they had limitations. Had they just made a tribute to Paul Walker that was like a loving piece of them saying stuff about him, you wouldn't be constrained by the fourth wall of what the movie says you have to do because it's part of the movie. Had you just done a really touching tribute to Paul Walker with the characters, that would have been fine. But you couldn't do that because you were still in the movie. The
people that were making the movie felt like they didn't want to sideline it. Like, it's more important than the movie. It is
important. It's absolutely important. But, I mean, Bruce Lee died and game to death, and, you know, there's no, like, thing about it.
Well, it's way back when. Come on. If that happened today, then they totally would do something like this.
Not always. If it's a franchise, it's 7 movies, I get it. But yeah, it's I mean,
okay,
scene.
so like what? Fucking Brandon Lee died during the making of The Crow.
Right.
And you're like, so why don't they do that? Like, it's different. Like, it's just one movie, you know? It's not like this huge franchise where people like built relationships with each other and stuff.
I'm not against the tribute, and I like the way it was handled. I just thought it makes you feel weird because, like, am I still watching the movie or am I watching something different?
I appreciated that it was not segregated.
Okay, whatever. I mean, okay.
Okay, let's talk about the future of the franchise. This is to wrap things up. So you think it's done, right? You think that they've jumped the shark way too much, and it's just done now, and Paul Walker's dead, and there's nothing left?
I'll just say this, though. I take a nap on the weekends. My son take a nap around, like, middle of the day. So I got home for this movie, and I couldn't fall asleep because my brain just kept processing that tribute. Like, I kept thinking about it, and it wasn't that I was sad. And I've had a brother-in-law who's passed away, and it kind of makes you think about that, but I've come to terms with that. And I wasn't sad. I was like, I have a son, so now I know what it feels like to have children and things like that. But there was something about that lingered with me. So they did do something right, and I don't know what it was. But I wanted to go back and watch it again, and kind of watch it again. And I think it's because I felt a little disjointed because of the movie, because of the way he said I'm going to leave. I felt it was like, oh, it's so good, but something feels off. I guess that's the only way to put it. So sentimental reasons, yes, but there's just like, something just didn't click. So anyways. Future of the franchise. It's fucking over. Let it go. Kill it, burn it, fire. Stop making these movies. I love these movies. 7 ruined it. Ruined the franchise. Stop it. That's all. I can't. This movie was so fucking dumb. He runs up the side of the bus and then jumps and grabs like. Stop it. Stop it. Everything was good up until now. Everything was bad good. Everything was good. Things were here, whatever, up and down. This movie didn't just jump the fucking shark. It jumped Bruce. You know, it jumped Jaws. It jumped every shark. There are no sharks left to jump because this thing jumped over all of them. It thing jumped over the fucking moon. Stop it. And Jason Statham's character survives and goes to a CIA detention facility, and The Rock says,
Oh, I forgot about that.
climb your way, or dig your way out of 37 feet of concrete.
That's the thing you couldn't think of. That's what happens.
Yeah, and he goes, and I'll be waiting with a fist and a body bag for you.
Yeah.
So Statham is still alive somehow, and he's locked up way deep with the fucking hallway with machine guns on their sides. Anyways, my voice is gone. I'm sick. Stop it. No more movies. I think that's a great way. Paul Walker's gone. We can't ride one more time again. They always say one last time, and they always keep doing more. I understand it makes money, but it just stopped. This is it. We're done. You
don't even think?
Wan? James Wan?
Yeah.
You killed the franchise. I said it.
He didn't kill the franchise. This movie made a ton of money, and it's still really entertaining. If it is the last movie in the franchise, which it's not, but if it was, I would accept it as the last entry. This is somebody who's fans of franchises that don't like get better as they go. They eventually get to a point where you just have to come to terms with what they are at the end.
If they make like another Tokyo Drift, like I'm pretty sure the next one would be like a reboot of the series with different people, or like
it won't be different people.
Another Tokyo Drift where it's like different people.
It'll be, if anything, it'll be like one would hope it'd be like a back to basics kind of
street racing
movie. And I guess what's his face? Lucas Black is, I guess, like contracted. Like he signed up for like multiple movies.
He was barely in this movie too. I thought he was going to be in more.
In it at all.
I've heard
that's the idea, you know.
I've heard rumblings that like Paul Walker's younger brother and older brother, they're not actors.
I hope that they don't do that.
One of them has now said he has an agent and he wants to pursue acting.
I don't want to see Paul Walker's brothers in the movie. I think Paul Walker, too bad for the brothers that want careers, but he died. It was tragic. I feel like they put that to bed very nicely.
Let me get on the last subject then, the double then. He died is tragic. Now, generally, I'm not a very nice person when it comes to people fucking up their own lives. He didn't. The guy driving the car. Same thing with Ryan Dunn. I liked Ryan Dunn a lot. He crashed a Porsche and died and burned up. Don't drink and drive, asshole. It's your fucking fault. Now, I don't know that there was DUI involved in this one or whatever, but we talked a little about this. You crashed your car. The irony. In real life, someone crashed a car you were in and you died. Stop putting car crashes in movies where people keep surviving them like it's fucking nothing. It's one thing to survive the gunfire. It's one thing to survive jumping long distances. But this is a teachable moment. Paul Walker actually died in a car crash. Don't then have the movie have people keep surviving car crashes. Let them know, hey, by the way, when you crash a car in real life, it fucking happened to the main actor in the movie. Don't just write it off like it's like, oh, it's an action movie. Fine, parachute, all that stuff. But stop the car crashing into walls and shit. Because you know what? People fucking die from that stuff. Your main actor fucking died from it. Let people know, hey, you know what? Yes, we have stuntmen, and yes, there's like serious shit that goes on here. Maybe just cut out the things like The Rock driving an ambulance over a fucking bridge. Because he would have fucking died. It's okay to crash your car into a drone, whatever. But stop crashing cars into cement and shit and then act like it's no big deal because it happened in real life and he did not walk away.
Fair enough.
I think there was a teachable moment there that they missed on completely. The Rock and Statham shouldn't be crashing their cars head onto each other at high speeds. Because, yes, in movie logic, people should have been dying all the time, but you let it go. But now that tragedy has struck, and people do know about it, and there's a chance for you kind of like, hey, we make these dumb action movies, but really don't try this stuff at home because look what happened, right? When someone actually did it, they died. Not just some nobody, but a main big Hollywood actor. So maybe we should cut back a little bit, like scale ourselves back so we don't go so over the top.
Well, the series went from racing to violence.
Yeah.
That's the trajectory of the series.
See, the violence, I'm saying, like, if you survive a missile strike, that's never going to happen, but I'm never going to get hit by a drone missile, so that's not going to affect my life. But thinking that, like, people know that when you get in a car crash, you die, but the fact that the guy in this fucking movie did it, it should be talked about a little bit more. I don't know.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. No, that's about it. I'm really happy I watched these.
I don't want my money back from 7. I'm glad I saw it.
Stop talking about 7. It's time to wrap this thing
what I mean
up.
is, I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I paid my money. I'm not like, I want a refund. I was just super disappointed in it.
I will buy the giant Blu-ray set that has every movie in it, and I will watch them all again. Except for the ones I don't like, I will fast forward through some stuff. But I'll watch all of 7 again for all the dumbness.
I'll just make a supercut for you that has all the action from all 7 movies and then none of the talking.
No, but I like the talking.
I know, but I mean, like,
scenes.
When you don't have time in your life, you just want to watch some things blow up.
I'm really happy I let these movies into my life.
Yeah.
There's a version of me that could have went on living thinking that they were like dumb and not worth my time or something like that. And I know there's other people out there that are like that. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh, these movies are dumb, whatever.
No one's listening to this, and two, if you are, we just spoiled all 7 movies. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's for people that already watched them, I guess. Well, then you'd agree with me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If you haven't and we spoiled them and you still want to go see them, they're worth seeing.
Yeah. You ready to call it this one?
Yeah.
I'm going to end it now.
Yeah, we're done. All right. Thank you for listening, I guess, if you listened. No one's listening.
What do you want to do next? Are we going to do this again anymore?
No.
No, let's do it. We got to keep doing it.
We have to finish other projects first.
I know, but this is so easy.
I know. Hey, if you're listening.
We won't do one for a while, but what do you want to do another horror thing?
Yeah, if anyone's listening, you got a suggestion, let us know what movies we should watch and then talk about in super long, boring detail.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.